All right. Welcome in if you are joining us on the replay or if you're joining us live here on the old YouTube. We're also going to be on TikTok tonight. So I've got the live chat up. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask whether you are watching this on the replay or not. I will hopefully get back to you as quickly as I can. If I don't, I'm not ignoring you. You can find me on any other platforms. Just shoot me a message. And if I know the answer, I'll let you know. And if I don't know the answer, I will tell you I don't know the answer. So tonight we're going to be doing photographing of clothes. We're going to do t-shirts, jeans, a couple other things. And if you need help with reselling, this is definitely going to be a great one for you to watch to get tips on how to properly photograph clothing. All right, we're going to go ahead and get our TikTok friends in here as well. And I'm excited to see who is going to make it in here first tonight. Who is it going to be? I think we had 10 people that registered ahead of time to come in. So hopefully they'll see it. Kayla is the first one in this evening. That was fast. Holy smokes. Good evening. How are we on this fantastic Tuesday? Oh my gosh. Yes, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Hi, aunties. Aunties or aunties, either way. Oh my gosh, Kayla, I literally had to look at my computer to find out if it was Tuesday or not. I was like, is it Tuesday? Wednesday? I know it's on Monday because I shipped on Monday. Hey, Mama Bear, welcome in. And Heidi is here. And MJ is here. Peach State is joining us this evening. Gracious is joining us. Hey, guys. So I take it we are liking putting the event thing up to get a reminder. I have a couple other people that I follow for other stuff outside of reselling that I saw doing that. Did I get sourdough bread on me? I might have sourdough on me, guys. This is what happens at the end of the day. I'm just a hot mess. Hey, Orlando. This is the real life of a reseller. I got like sourdough bread on me from making bread. I've got cleaner. I don't even know what's on here, guys. Hey, Oahu and Test, Tenacious Tea. I see what you did there. Well, we're waiting for everybody to hop on here. I'm just working on actually cleaning these shoes. I think I am going to go with check and get a authentication on these before I try to sell them. I know they'll still have to be authenticated. They're a pair of Adidas Yeezys. They're still going to have to be authenticated when I, go to sell them. They'll have to go through the authenticity process. I think I said that right. Yeah, I got these at a garage sale. It was so weird. It was like this garage sale where this guy was like selling like a bunch of tools, and he had a hat and these. And actually, I think I still have the hat here somewhere. Where is it? Oh, I think it's right here. Here we go. Yeah. So he had this hat out on a tarp, and then he had these on a tarp. And I was like, how much do you want for those? And he goes, $1. And I was like, excuse me? You want $1 for a pair of Yeezys? I am 99.999% sure that they're real. I can tell from the inside where it says Yeezy. It's got the round toe. It's not pointed. It hits all the markers for being real. So that's a nice little pickup. I'm in the process of getting those cleaned up because I want to run them through check. I don't know if you guys have ever used check before, but you can get your shoes kind of like, it's not going to hold up in like on eBay or anything like that, but it's just good for you to know on your own. I use it quite a bit, and it's this right here. So this app there, if you look at it, it says check. You can buy like these coins ahead of time, basically, and you cash them in for being able to like get your shoes, authenticated. Again, it's not going to hold up anywhere, but it's just good for you to know. Saved me from a pair of Jordans once. Any great comps or only nice ones? Great comps all the time, Felix. You know that. Oh man, so we're working on stuff that we got from not this last weekend, but the weekend before still. You guys, I set out a goal, and I can't even believe I accomplished this. Do you guys remember, not this weekend, but the weekend before, I hit 122 garage sales on a Saturday. One of the garage sales I went to had like a crazy amount of shoes. Last weekend or the weekend before, they are all blending together. Anyways, I had gotten this grip of shoes, and then we all photographed them together yesterday. I was like, okay, before I do a live tomorrow night, I want to get every single pair of those shoes photographed. I want to get every single pair of those shoes listed, and I want to get every single pair of those shoes cross-listed. And I knew it was going to be like a huge, crazy task because it wound up being 34 pairs of shoes. And we did it. We photographed all 34 of them yesterday together. And then I got 12 of them listed before I went to bed last night. And then I got the rest of them listed today. And then I got them all cross-listed onto. So they're all up on eBay, Mercari, Depop, Poshmark, and then a couple pairs of the super bangers are up on Grailed. I can't even believe I did that. That just goes to show how important, like, just keep going because you will get faster. If you would have told me even 4 months ago when I first started like really doing this full time, if you would have told me 4 months ago that I'd be able to get 34 pairs of shoes up and cross-listed in under 24 hours, I would have said you have lost it. There's no way that I could have ever thought I could do that. So inspiration for all of you out there that are feeling like maybe you're still slow or you want to get faster, like you can do this. You just gotta, it's the practice makes perfect thing that we always hear. So, oh, awesome. Gracious, cool. That makes me happy. Yeah, we gotta grind this stuff out, you guys. We don't want death piles anymore, right? No more D piles. Bolo, industrial indigo men's jean jacket. Ooh, okay. Commit that to memory. In the words of Motion City soundtrack, commit that to memory. Jose and Julia here. All right, guys, let's get this kick started here. We're going to start off today with what I think is going to be a Depop sale. It could be a Poshmark because it's kind of in like the artsy kind of realm as well, kind of bookworm. So what this is a Library of Congress, Washington, D.C. This is definitely vintage. It's got books on the back. It's got books on the front. It's on a Hanes heavyweight. Judging by this label, let's see. I don't think this is made in the USA. This is made in Mexico. So this is going to be like a 2008, probably. I would say this is like a 2008 would be my guess. But total banger. Awesome t-shirt. I got this for like 50 cents or something. So we're going to get it up here on our board and smooth everything out here. Such a cool shirt. I mean, this is something that I would wear if it was in my size. Unfortunately, I am not an adult small because I would wear this shirt. It's just so cool with all the books and everything. And the fact that it's a back and a front shirt. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get a picture. And if you guys ask questions and I don't see you, I promise you, I am not trying to ignore anybody. I just don't see it. So feel free to ask again. And if you are in here and you know the answer to a question or you have a thought on something, dude, totally answer it, you guys. There is no wrong answers in this business. The only wrong answer is quitting, right? So we're all better together. Feel free to answer. And I saw someone just repost this and share it out. Thank you for doing that. That really, really helps to get the word out and helps to get the old TikTok algorithms happy so more people can see this so that we can help more people. Man, I was so lost photographing clothing when I first started. I didn't even do it. My old listings that I've been going back through and fixing didn't even have measurements on it. Needed that. Yes, in V, we got this. Okay. So the first thing I do when I get started is I always do like one practice picture. So I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to look at my photo and I'm going to kind of just look and see if it looks clear, if anything looks funky. That looks a little weird to me. So I'm going to clean my camera thing. Always keep a little microfiber with you because these do get grimy and dirty and it really will affect your pictures. So let's erase that one. And then we're going to get a little bit of a better photo here. We're going to take a look. I'm going to make sure also that my live photos is off. So if you're on an iPhone and you've got that option for live photos up here, you need to make sure that's turned off in order to get the best quality photos for putting up, because eBay and all these platforms, they're still image platforms. And so when you put a live picture up, it winds up degrading it a little bit. And so make sure you turn that off. So that's a little tip to start the day out. Let's take a look. I think that looks pretty good. That looks good to me. Looks nice, looks clear, looks bright. I've got my exposure set to +3. When I do any of the black clothing, I'll bring it down to -3. If I've got something that's gray, I'll probably put it at 0. And you can mess with your exposures in your phone up at the top here. Again, I'm giving you advice on iPhone. If you're Android, I'm not really sure. You'll have to look it up. But you can mess with the exposure up here too to make sure that it looks, you want the item to look the exact same as it would look, online as it looks in real life. So Miss Martha, happy to see you. And Heather, Denisa, Lisa, hey guys. Okay, so the first picture we take is always from the front. Looks good. And then we're going to move over here, and then we're going to do shoulders is the next picture that I always do. And then I do length. And then I do chest. I've got a nice little tip for you guys too on some of your verbiage. So one thing I do when I'm listing stuff is I do a lot of what's called sell similar. And if you're a newer reseller, you may not know about this, but on eBay, you can go in and you can sell. You go into the thing when you find something that you want to sell, you can go to sell similar or sell one like this. And it just cuts down your time for relisting. So I do that a lot. But when I'm doing that, I go in and a lot of times I'll accidentally click on the other person's listing and I'll just end up looking at the description or whatever to see if I'm going to have to change it a bunch. And one thing I've been noticing a lot on eBay, which is where I list, and then of course I cross list everywhere else, so I can't speak to any other platform. But one of the verbiages that I keep seeing that I really think if you can get it out of your listings from now on, don't stress about your old ones, is the incorrect verbiage for chest measurements. So if you look on any website, so right now I'm just taking pictures of the tag here. If you look on any website that sells clothing, Nordstrom's, Macy's, wherever, doesn't matter where it is, Kohl's, whatever, and you look at clothing or you look at like a place that sells skate clothing, Vans or whatever, a lot of times you'll notice on the measurements, it'll say chest. One of the things I keep seeing a lot on eBay is pit to pit. So pit to pit is a reseller term. That is not an actual clothing term. In other words, I mean, you may see it on some like cool Y2K skater, like they're trying to kind of do a lingo thing. They may say pit to pit because it sounds kind of cool, but it's really chest is what you want to call it. On a woman, it's a bust. On a man, it's a chest. And the chest is, from right here to right here. 2 reasons you don't want to do pit to pit. One, people that aren't resellers and are reading that, the word pit, like armpit, kind of leaves a weird taste in the mouth. It's kind of a little cringy. As a reseller, I got no problem with it because I know exactly what pit to pit means. But the average person that's not reselling, that's just hopping on Mercari to buy a t-shirt, is like, pit to pit? Okay. Now, a lot of you are probably like, no, I know exactly what that is. I knew what it was before that. Hey, guys, this is just an opinion. Opinions are like pit to pits. Everyone's got them and they generally stink, right? So my opinion is when you put that in your listing, one, it leaves a little taste in the mouth, a little strange, right? The second thing is we always want to be doing things that are going to help the algorithm, right? So if you've got someone that's searching for a Ralph Lauren polo button up, and they happen to type in chest 40 or chest 30 or something like that, because most dudes are going to call it a chest or women are going to call it a bust, when you're searching for things 36 bust or whatever. The algorithm can catch that word, right? I don't think there's many people going on and writing Ralph Lauren polo shirt, pit to pit 36, right? They're more likely to say the word chest. I think chest is probably higher on the likelihood than that. Also, if you look like in Grailed, for instance, on Grailed, when it asks you for your measurements, that literally is what it asks for, is the chest measurement. So I'm going to encourage you guys, you can try this. You might like this. You might think this is the worst advice you've ever gotten. But in my opinion, if you can start putting chest in your listings, like chest 20 across, 40 around, because some people are going to take their measurements like this. So let's just pretend we're not a reseller, right? We're just some average, I'm a 25-year-old and I want to buy this t-shirt and I see that it says pit to pit, I might get that. But if I see chest, I'm like, okay, my chest, let's see, my chest is, 20. So here's what I do on my listing. I write chest 20, and then I write 40 around, because you got some people that will only think of this measurement. And then you got some people that will think, oh, if I'm 20, then I'm 40 around. And so they're searching for 40. So, and that's split. Some people will literally look up their chest size just from measuring themselves across, and they won't think of around. So if you're putting both of those in your listing, you're so much more likely, in my opinion, to just hit a wider demographic of people. Yes, feeling cringy now for doing it. Hey, Envy, here's the thing. I bet you if you went and searched in some of my listings, my old listings that I've been going through and changing everything on them, I bet you could find a couple pit to pits on mine still too. So it's what I did in the beginning. I didn't even think of it. I saw another reseller doing it. And so I was like, oh, that must be what I should do. And it didn't even cross my mind. And of course, over time, we evolve and we change. So, hey, no big deal. Not me putting pit to pit instead of chest. Let me go change that. So I think of them as backup measurements to what's in the title, but I'm definitely going to try that. Perfect. Hey, Vicky, good to see you tonight. Hey, Jess. Hey, Panda. Vicky is a new subscriber. Yeah, Vicky. Yeah, baby. Thank you for adding value to our Go Lives. Hey, Stefan, thanks for the compliment. Okay. Now, if you haven't joined me before, too, you're probably wondering what I'm doing down here with writing. So I write down my stuff when I do my photographs. I write down the name of the shirt or something that will tell me what it is. I write down the SKU number, because otherwise I end up probably losing it, or I can't find it, or when I go to list, I don't remember what the number was or something. So I write it down, and then I also take a picture of the SKU number. That way it's in order of the photos. And I can't tell you guys how many times this has saved me. I have been doing this since almost the beginning because I couldn't find shirts. I literally couldn't find them. And when I first started, I didn't have the money to have a Rollo printer and do all of this, thermal printing. So I was writing SKU numbers down on Post-it notes on magic marker, and then I was taping over them, because I learned the hard way to not leave the magic marker exposed, because you'll transfer that marker onto your other things you're trying to sell. And so I've been doing those since the very beginning and taking pictures, because I had to cancel a couple orders when I first started. Yeah, Peach State, going crazy with the love, baby. 1.6 hearts already. 1.7. That's all Peach State right there. And tenacious. Okay, so we're going to write down the measurements here. So what do we got? We have our shoulder is 16.5. Our length is 26. And our chest is going to be 16 across, so 32 around. So that's what I do. I just write this information down, and then when I list it, I cross out that I've listed it. And then when I cross list it, I cross out the other way. So you guys probably see the two different colors. Now, is that a little particular? Yeah, I have to. Guys, my brain is very spicy, and I am all over the place all the time. If you've ever followed me on here, you know that. And so I need those little things to help keep my brain, functioning and doing all the things it's supposed to. Okay, let's move along here. So that was my kind of tip of the day. I just wanted to go over that because it's something that I have seen a couple times. And I've seen other resellers actually talk about it before too. And I think they're right. It's just, it's the pit to pit thing. It just kind of feels a little weird to me. But if you like it and it works for you, there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's people out there buying stuff off your site right now. So that is just a personal opinion. All right. So this is a little 30 single t-shirt that we got. Now, a lot of people wouldn't pick this up. I buy most of my stuff from garage sales. If you need advice about Goodwill or thrift stores, I am not your girl. I run a full-time business getting stuff from garage sales. I go to like around 40 garage sales a weekend. So that's what I do. Now, I'm also what I call an aesthetic seller, meaning that I'm trying to sell things because of the way that they look, or some other people call it like someone that sells a style seller is also things I've heard, but I always call it an aesthetic seller. So I don't care what brand this is. What I care about is it's got a sick fire skulls on the front. It's got roses. It's got some sick graphics on the back. And that's why I'm going to sell it. This is going to sell on Depop. If you're wondering what sells on Depop, this is what sells on Depop. So we're going to get a picture of the front here. And I always fold these in because if I lay them out, the shirt becomes so blown out in the photo that it doesn't look real. And then your shirt's like this big and then the outside of it's this big. So I just fold those in. So the first thing I'm going to get is a picture of the front. Now, this is why it is so important for you to mess with your exposures. If you look at that, it looks like it's a light gray and it's not. In the box right now, it looks like it's a light gray, but it's not. It's a black color. So if you're using any sort of bright lighting, when you're doing anything, any sort of black colors, you're going to really want to bring your exposure down. So I usually do 0.3 because I don't want it to be I don't want it to be misleading. I don't want people to think they're getting a dark, rich black t-shirt when it's slightly a black color, but look at how much better that looks. Just that little bit of a tweak makes such a huge difference. So we're going to do our shoulders now. So we're going to bring this out. And then we're going to do length. And then we will do our chest area here. Fixing my ruler. And then this has a couple pinholes in it. And that is definitely something that you want to disclose when you're doing your listings. And how I do mine is I just take my little stick here and I just point it at them. That way they can get kind of an idea of the pinholes. Now, this is something that somebody probably would normally snooze at a garage sale. They probably wouldn't even think to pick it up because it's got the pinholes on it. I sell t-shirts with pinholes all day over on Depop because the age group that's buying this kind of like skate, grunge, hardcore punk, edgy indie aesthetic, they almost want the pinholes. I know that sounds just absolutely wild to think of, right? But it is true. Yeah, this t-shirt is fire. Look at the graphics on that. I mean, come on. All right. Did I miss anyone's questions? And if you had any comments, I totally apologize, guys, for missing it. So feel free to ask again. All right. And Tenacious, thank you so much for the love. Yeah, baby. I think you just got us over 3,000. Hey, Christy. All right. And then we're going to take a picture of the tag. And then if your tags have a date on them, a lot of these more screen print tags will. So you want to include that in your listing. This one doesn't have that. So we're not going to worry about that. So this is a 30 single. Again, does not matter to me what the brand is because that is not why I bought it to sell it. Now, if you were at Goodwill or a thrift store and they wanted like $6 for this or something with the pinholes and all that, I wouldn't do that because I'll wind up probably selling this t-shirt for like $14 or something over on Depop, but it cost me like 50 cents or $1. So the markup on that is crazy, right? I don't even know what is the markup on that. Something wild. So we're going to get this in our bag, and then we are going to move in right along. Auntie's Crafty Corner, like the video. Oh, thank you very much. All right. So we got this in our bag. We got a picture of it. Let's take a look at our measurements on this. And this is a 2X also. I love selling a little bit bigger size clothing. It sells really, really well for me. Because that baggy aesthetic right now is so huge. Like that overly baggy, like you guys know what look I'm talking about, the really huge, crazy, overly baggy clothes. I can just hear my mom back in the day being like, that's too big. Why are you wearing that? And that whole look is back. So you got 23.5 on the chest. Looks like our length is going to be 30. And then our shoulders are going to be a 23. Perfect. All right, moving right along. Next, we've got a little mock neck fleece jacket, Columbia. If this was like $5 or $6, I would not pick this up. I got it for $1, so it's totally worth it. Actually, I think I might have paid $1.50 for this. And it's a little bit of an older Columbia, which helps. The newer Columbia stuff I tend to find doesn't sell as well. Yeah, this is a 2013. So the newer Columbia stuff, I just think the market has gotten a little saturated. I don't know. What is your guys' opinion on the new Columbia stuff? It seems like it's a little stale. Now we are headed in to fourth quarter here. So we're going to be selling a lot of turtlenecks and mock necks and hoodies and warm clothing. So I expect all the stuff to flush out of my inventory. But I just don't think you can get as much for Columbia as you could at one time. Now, that being said, anything that's like 10 years old for me always sells. Now, I don't wear Columbia because I am warm all the time. So I can't imagine even wearing a hoodie. So I don't know what the answer is to this. I don't know if the quality started going down, or if by the way, guys, always check the pockets. Always check the pockets. I don't know if the quality went down or what has happened. But it just seems to me like it's not as popular as it was, or maybe it's just market saturation. I only pick up new with tag, or if you unique PFG or Pima cotton. And that's a great tip, Gracious. So if it is new with tag, I will always pick it up. Or if it's PFG, same thing with like anything that's like dry fit, ThermaFit, Under Armour heat gear, anything that has like a specialty thing to it, that's definitely a pickup. Now, one of our pockets had a tag, one of them didn't. I'm going to take this off because I would rather it have no little tag thing on it than have to write in my listing, the tag is gone on one side, right? What sounds better? Jacket, no major flaws detected, or jacket, one of the tag things on the pocket's gone. So I just toss those. If it's missing, they don't know it was missing to begin with, unless they literally already owned this jacket once or something. I just toss them. I know everyone's probably like, what? You just throw it away. But I'm not, it's going to be a lot easier for me to sell if I don't have something wrong with it, right? Okay. And then this kind of neck here, if you guys are wondering what this is called a mock neck, M-O-C-K. And people that like these kind of jackets and shirts really will type that in. So that's something to put in your description. And if you can fit it in the title, great. If you're struggling, I wouldn't worry too much about it, but I would definitely advise doing that. So we're going to do that chest, and then we're also going to do sleeves on this. I don't do photos of the sleeves on short sleeve stuff. I just never have. I know there are some resellers that do, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's great. It's just not something I do unless it's like a jersey or something where the sleeves are like kind of weird. Let's see, that has, is that a flaw? No. Okay. Flipping this around. We got our little lint roller here. Get all the little gooberies off, all the yucks, and all the things that Felice loves to grab onto. I mean, it literally, if there's a hair in the world, I feel like it's like me with mosquitoes. If there's a mosquito in the world, it's finding me. If there's a hair in the world, it is finding a fleece jacket. It's like a moth drawn to the flame, right? All right, we're gonna just check our exposure here. And we're looking, does everything look good and true? I think that looks great. And then we're gonna bring it over and then we're gonna get pictures of our tags. Hey, 845 and Barbara, good to see you. Oh my goodness. We are literally over 5K hearts already. That is the fastest that has ever happened. That is crazy. You guys are on it tonight. You got your tapping fingers. It reminds me of that Kermit the Frog song. Remember? Tapping feet. You've got them tapping feet. Give them a low down beat and they'll begin dancing. Come on. Come on. My little thing here does not want to take a picture of this Columbia tag. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. You did it. So I always get a picture of the size tag, and then I always get a picture of the other tag down in here because I date stamp my listings as much as possible. And I pretty much know how to read date stamps. I think on most stuff now, I think it's gotten to the point, man, I'm having a really hard time with the autofocus here. What is going on? Maybe we need to do another little cleaning here. Another little cleaning. Wait. All right. Let's see. I don't know why it's being so scritchely. There we go. Yep, I think it just probably got my greasy finger on there. So I do pictures of the, like what it's made of, obviously, because people want to know that. And then, like I said, I date all of my stuff because especially for anything, and I think this is really important, for anything that's between the ages of like 2011 to now, there really isn't a word for that, right? We've got 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, Y2K, and then everything from 2011 to now is considered modern. Well, if this is a 2013 jacket, that's not really modern, right? I mean, this jacket is literally like almost 12 years old. That's out of a decade. But we just, as a people, haven't really come up with a term that's widely known. Let me know if you guys ever find one. So I put the date in there. That way at the beginning of my listing, I can put like 2013 Columbia mock neck, brown, full zip jacket, long sleeve, men's large or whatever this is, outdoor gorp core. That's probably exactly what my listing will say. So for me, by putting that 2013, it just triggers that person's mind like, oh, okay, this is like the older style, which I think works really well. What size are those bags? So I have two different kinds that I use. I have two different sizes, as you can see. So these are for shirts, and then these are for jackets, pants, and anything larger sweaters. And I have these in our link tree. Let's see, these are the 14 by 11. So this larger size is 14 by 11. And then this smaller size is 9. It's probably 9 by 12. Yeah, by 12. So 9 by 12, 14 by 11. I'm going to write that down because I get that question a lot. 9 by 12, 14 by 11. Is that what we said? 14 by 11? No, I can't remember. I have such a hard time with numbers. My brain flips numbers around. That's the way that it works. So I'm going to write clear bags. And then the brand I'm using that I really like, I've gone through a couple different brands, and this is the best brand I've found. I don't think I will ever switch. And it's the Spartan. So the brand is Spartan, Spartan. And you can find it all through our little link tree there. Yeah, you're welcome. So those are the two sizes I use. All right, and then I am going to clean my board here. had a couple little fuzzies. Okay, next thing I've got here, this is a super banger. This is amazing. Pop quiz. Who remembers these kind of shirts from back in the day? You guys ready to see a magic trick? Anyone want to see a magic trick? Heart for a magic trick. Heart for a magic trick. Ready? Heart for a magic. There you go. Grace has got it. Ready, guys? Check it out. Isn't that awesome? Oh my gosh. And then you blow on it, it gets hot, and then it just fades back away. So I saw this I was at a community garage sale. I saw this from down the block, and I could not get my car there fast enough. I'm like, and I get out, and I'm like power walking up to this. It's like hanging on this rack with this side out. And I didn't even ask how much it was. I'm like, yep. I'm like, hey, how much you guys got on t-shirts? $1. Great. And I started picking stuff up because this is a super banger. Now, this is not a vintage one. Obviously, you can see the screen print. This is not a hypercolor vintage, but it still should do well. I am imagining we're probably going to get anywhere between 16 to 20 on this. It'll probably sell on Depop. One of the things I noticed from other people selling these is that they don't show what they can do. So we are going to show what it can do because I think that's the cool part of this t-shirt is that it can do this. I think it's weird to not show that. So we're just gonna mess with our exposure here to make sure it looks good. Wonderful. And what's our phone set to? What is our thing? Are we on vibrant? Are we on regular? Let's take a look here. We are on vibrant. Perfect. And I like keeping mine on vibrant. I think that it just shows more true to tone personally. All right. So we're going to show the front. Then what I'm going to do, this is the weirdest thing I've ever done for reselling. I'm going to show that it changes color there. That's single-handedly the weirdest thing I've ever done for taking a picture. Is that a fabric board? Tanisha, that's a good question. If you, after you're off here, pop over to our YouTube, which is just nice comps. There's a video there that explains how I did this. And it'll tell you everything you need to know about it so that it's not confusing as to what I did. Because it is technically a drywall insert for walls, and it's some special felt that I got, and it's at a certain angle and degree. I got so many questions about this board that I finally was like, I just need to make a video. Otherwise we are going to have to confuse people every time and trying to explain how I did it. All right, so front, back, everything. And then picture of the back of the shirt. I love this shirt so stinking much. Like I wanted to keep it so bad. I would wear this. This is a total charity shirt, but it is a medium. So I am not a medium. I wear all of my t-shirts. I wear men's larges, and I like them to be kind of baggy. I could fit in a medium, but I wouldn't feel like me. Hey, Peach. We got 2 peaches in here. Thanks for the follow. It's a double peach tundra. Double peach tundra. Yep, that's the way that goes. I never promised it would be good singing. I just promised there would be singing. Okay, so we got our gecko Hawaii, and just such a cool thing to find out in the wild there. Definitely an interesting find. Peach is like, oh my gosh. Hey, West Miss, how's it going? Good to see you. Good to see you. Howdy to whoever we've got over on YouTube. I see you there. I don't see your name, but I see you hanging out. My thermal printer printed everything sideways, so a lot of my SKU numbers look a little funky right now. All right, so we got 959. Oh, and we didn't put the measurements down for that Columbia either. What was that Columbia? What number was that? 981 on that one. Okay, so this is the Gecko, and that's a medium. Let's take a look. Hey, Hella and Daisy May. Daisy May, how are you today? All right, so we got, looks like our chest area is 19. I need to turn my brightness up on my phone. There we go. So chest is 19. Looks like our length is 26. It's like 26 and a quarter, but I always round down. I have never had anyone say, oh my gosh, I don't like that this t-shirt was too long, but I've had people say this t-shirt was a little smaller than I expected. So I will always round up when it comes to shipping, round down when it comes to size is what I always say. I don't know if I always say that, but I'm saying that today. Okay, and then that Columbia, that was a 2013, and that is an extra large. And what was this length on that? So our sleeves were 26, our chest was 25, our length was 28, and our shoulders were 21. Brianna Crandall, thank you for the love. Thank you. Hey, DT. All right, moving right along. All right, next we've got a little Y2K Texas Gulf shirt. I expect this to probably sell on eBay would be my guess on this one. Maybe Depop because it is older. So this t-shirt brand has been around for quite a while, the AAA. You'll know it's older if the tag has some beefiness to it. Now, if this was a 90s shirt, the tag would probably be double looped, meaning that it would have the top and the back. So it would look kind of like this. When you guys see tags that have that kind of middle opening, South Pole tags, you see that on a lot. Nike tags always pretty much have that. But there's a lot of brands that stopped doing the double tag like around 2006-ish, 5-ish. So if you see the double tag, it's probably either 90s, 80s, or really super early Y2K. This one is not a double back. So that tells me, and is this made in Mexico? Yeah. So made in Mexico stuff a lot of times will be anywhere from like 2006 to like 2011, 12-ish. After that, you start seeing more like China, some Honduras stuff will get in there. Like you'll just see you'll see it kind of changing. You'll see more like Vietnam, Philippines. You'll just notice you do this long enough and you start to kind of see like a pattern in clothing lines and kind of how things were manufactured and when they were. Hey, Jess, Teresa, and Mikkel, I'm happy to see you. And Adam that has a shoe for his profile picture. That's like a nice shoe. That's a banger right there. I like that. Okay, so we're gonna. I hung that up. I took it right off the hanger and didn't even photograph it. So look at that. We're gonna put that back on. We're gonna actually get a picture of the item before we put it in the bag. Go figure. Okay. So how many of you have been following me on the adventure of the Depop situation? How many of you know what I'm talking about? For those of you that don't, I had some interesting things happen with Depop in the last few weeks. So I am primarily a Depop seller. And what I mean by that is, we're going to do standard on this because that vibrant looks way crazy. I am normally a Depop seller. That's where the majority of my sales are because I sell mainly Y2K stuff. I sell mainly men's clothing. Not all, but that's kind of like my bread and butters. I sell a lot of Levi's and stuff. So I do a lot of like guys stuff. Because of that, I sell a lot on Depop. So I generally, as a rule of thumb, I would say I probably sell anywhere between like 5 to 8 things a day on Depop normally. A really good day, I'll sell 10 on Depop. But it's usually, I mean, when we go to ship our Depop, I mean, guys, how long are we usually doing Depop shipping for? Forever, right? We're in here for 40 minutes doing it. So I guess it's been about 3 weeks now. I had sent out an order. I put the tracking number in, and it just would not take this tracking number. It would accept the tracking number, it spit it out. It would accept the tracking number, and it would spit it out. And this went on and on and on to the point where I had to actually involve Depop. And I wound up speaking to a technical department and going through all these things. We're going to make a super long story short here. So the meat and potatoes of it was that Depop, if this is what we found out through the last 4 weeks of this, because this has happened to me twice, right? Where it keeps spitting it out. I found out from Depop that if the customer puts in the incorrect address and that address gets changed when you're making a shipping label. So for me, I do all of my shipping for Depop outside of Depop. I do it in Pirate Ship because I'm able to make a little extra money. I'm able to pad my shipping a little bit. And so I found out, so when I put my stuff in Pirate Ship, it auto corrects the zip code. So if you're putting someone's address in, it changes it. Well, I didn't even notice it was doing that because I'm like, who doesn't put their zip code in, right? So I've had 2 people now that haven't put it in. Well, what has happened is both of those times, they got their order, right? Because of course they're going to get their order. Fortunately, my system did catch it, or it probably would have gone into the incorrect zip code. So, this doesn't have a number on it. So it's our first over 1,000 tag, guys. That's exciting. So I had noticed that my Depop sales had slowed. Now, who in here knows what I'm talking about? Do you guys remember what we're talking about? You guys, anyone remember this whole Depop situation? So my Depop sales had slowed when that first thing kept saying it wasn't shipped. Now, they assured me through 3 emails straight from corporate Depop that I was not having my algorithms faltered, that it was not changing the amount of people that were seeing my things. Now, I called sus on that because my sales slowed down to 2 a day, 1 a day, and then it was like 0 sales for like 2 days. Now, that hasn't happened to me ever, right? That just doesn't happen. That's never happened. I don't care what time of the month it is, what day of the month it is, what month it is. I always consistently sell on Depop because of the volume I'm putting up there and because of what we're selling. So it had slowed. They said didn't affect. And so we decided, guys, that we were going to conduct a little experiment, if everyone remembers this. Hey, I use your corporate Depop. Yeah, the big wigs. So we decided we were going to conduct an experiment because this happened again. So I had my another order go out for that crisscross t-shirt. You guys remember that vintage fire crisscross Daddy Mac t-shirt I had? The person had put their zip code in incorrectly for their address. So it auto changed. It's been delivered. I'm sure everything's fine with that. However, I didn't have any sales on Depop, I had 2 sales on Wednesday, 1 sale on Thursday, 1 sale on Friday. We only shipped 4 items on Monday from Depop. So that means all of Thursday, all of Friday, all of Saturday, and all of Sunday, I sold 4 items. Now, if I normally sell even 5 a day, we should have shipped out like 20 Depop orders on Monday, and we didn't. So we decided to conduct a little experiment all together. Does anyone remember what I'm talking about? Hey, Jennifer. So you guys tell me what you think. I got it cleared. I got the tracking number to load. The tracking number went in at it finally took it, I think yesterday at 8 or 9 p.m. It stopped kicking it out. Vicky remembers. In that time, since last night, we have sold 2 items already since 8 o'clock last night. So here's what I think is going to happen. No, 3 items because one's a bundle. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think tomorrow we sell more and the next day we sell more. And because it takes days for algorithms to get back in. So I don't care what they say at corporate. That absolutely affected the algorithms because there's no way that it happened twice. So I think the only way for me to prevent that from happening in the future, because I don't want to lose, is this not fire? Hello? I don't want to lose all those sales for those days. So I think what we need to do from now on is when I go to get the shipping label, I just need to look at that zip code. And if that zip code that the person put in is not the zip code that my system wants to do, I'm going to have to message the person and have them cancel the order and redo it or something, because I don't want to deal with losing out on days and days and days while I'm waiting to get back into the algorithm because of the shipping situation. So I think that our experiment is correct. I agree with every single person that said that they think that was affecting it, because I just haven't had slow Depop days. Now, could it still be a fluke? Of course it could still be a fluke. Could it still totally be just a silly thing and I'm thinking it is one thing and it's really not that? Well, I suppose that it could be that. But I don't think so. I don't think so. All right, nice little trick here. Moving on to a new topic. DW. New topic. This is the best cleaner you can ever use for spot treatment. It's called water and a little rag from an old towel in your kitchen that you don't use anymore. So I always keep this here with me when I'm doing these things, because every once in a while I'll see just a little tiny spot that a washing machine didn't get out that I know I can get out, because I do not want to lose a sale on something because there's something weird on something. Let me get that out. Scrubby, 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 scrubby. All right. Okay. And the back. And then I always do the inside here on jackets, especially with this one, because this has been through the wash, but it just has like that discoloring look to it. I mean, this has like literally been, this is old. This has shoulder pads in it to give anyone an idea on how old this thing is. All right, and we're going to take a picture of it here. And then we are going to move on to our measurements. What is in the bottle? Good old-fashioned water. It's a 50-cent bottle from H-E-B and distilled water. And the only reason it's distilled is because where I live, the water's so hard here that if you just use regular water and you spray it on something, it leaves like a white film. Oh my gosh. Love +4. Happy to see you this evening. All right. And I did not get the sizing on this. What is this brand too? I love all these old brands. They're so expressive. Like the 80s brands and stuff. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but this is called like Indictations. Like, what does that even mean? Have you ever noticed how older brands will be like aspirational KV or something just like so weird and random? I think that's funny. All right. Oh, did we not check the pocket on that one? I didn't see this when this went through the washing machine, and thank gosh. So I don't generally dry my clothes in the dryer that I resell. I will with jeans, and I will with like a fleece thing or something. I'll just dry them on low. But most stuff I'll just hang dry. So I didn't realize this, but this was in the pocket. How that did not totally melt in there. It's got a few little like pieces of the wrapper that came off. I'm gonna have to rewash that probably. That is an authentic 1980 menthol eucalyptus cough suppressant. Same for Avon perfume names. Jen, you're right. You guys, look what was in that. It's authentically from the 80s. It's 1980s cough drop. That's so gross. Wow, it's a good thing that this thing is petrified and it's lit. And like it is so petrified. Otherwise that would have gotten all over the washer machine. I don't know how I missed that. I'm gonna have to rewash that thing because that is a situation. I can't even believe that was in there. Does anybody else think that's the grossest thing they've ever seen? Have you guys ever found something like super gross in a like a coat pocket or anything? I've never found it. We got paid $20 the other day for a pair of jeans, but I've never found anything too gross. Though I did have a vintage, I think it was like a Ralph Lauren or something. I can't remember what it was, but there was a dog treat, a handkerchief, and a Werther's original in it. They did, Vicky. They left me a souvenir. Lauren Jane. Hey, Val and Priscilla and Joe. That's so gross. I can't believe that was in there. Like, man, it's a good thing that germs can't be spread that are that old. Oh my gosh. That's the life of a reseller, right? We just never know what's going to be in there. Let's see, length is 32 on that. I'm going to get all the specs down for this, and then I am going to rewatch that one because that's just too gross. That classifies for the too gross. All right, let's move on to another item. This is a great bolo, you guys. I find these at garage sales all the time for $1 a piece, and I always pick them up. The only time I won't pick them up is if they're super stained, and I know I can't get it out, if there's like grease stain spots. Or if this top lapel is super busted up. This one's pretty good. I am going to run my little fabric shaver over it just to give it a nice fresh look. If you guys have not gotten yourself a fabric shaver, get yourself one. You will use it. They're not that expensive, and it's definitely a much needed reseller tool. Okay, so a couple things about this one that make me want to pick it up. One is the tag. So this tag here for Polo is definitely a Y2K. This is probably like a 2008 Polo, I would say. But most importantly, it's the size. So this is a 2XLT. So for someone that wants that older aesthetic, or maybe they've always liked this specific kind of polo, it's going to be way more difficult for them to find it than, say, a size medium, large, or extra large. Because companies, when they make clothing, they go by the demographic of the sizes they sell the most of. So Polo, for instance, probably sells, I would say, more medium, large, and extra large than they would smalls, 2XL, 3XL, 2XLTs, 3XBs, any of those other kind of unusual sizes. They just don't make as many. So for people that want them, it's a lot harder to find. So I love picking up those sizes because I can always sell them. I usually ship out at least 1 to 2 larger size items every single time we do shipping because, you know, like I said, it's just harder for people to find it. Now, I always keep a little tape on my board just to hold shoulders back. And the key with that is just remembering to take the tape off when you're done. Tape works good for me. I am not a fancy girl. I am sweatpants fancy. So I do things that are cheap and easy for me to do. Tape is one of them. If you wanted to be more fancy, I'm sure there's a fancier way of doing it. And then that's how I lay my shirts out for these. I'm going to always make sure that I'm bringing these arms in because otherwise it would just be so big, right? You're just going to lose so much of the item in the photograph. We'll straighten that out. And then when we do measure this, we're going to make sure that we measure this, do 2 different lengths. And I'll show you what I mean when I get there. Okay, so we got our front. We're going to do shoulder to shoulder. I can take the tape off now. Pop that up there for another time. So we're going to do shoulder. We're going to do arm We're going to do length. And in this photo, I'm going to make sure that I get both lengths. And when I come back over there, I will show you guys exactly what I mean, because it's very important that you do this for polos. Not all of them have the 2 different sizes, but a lot of them do. And let's see, this has got just a couple little pinholes in it, really small. So we'll make sure that we point those out. But for a dude that's been looking for a 3XLT polo shirt vintage, or at least not vintage, but Y2K, he's going to be stoked on that. So let me show you what I mean by the 2 different lengths. So polo shirts typically have an up and down, meaning the front and the back are different. It's really important that when you take those measurements, that you not only make sure you get both of those in the photograph, but you also put those in your descriptions. And here's why. If you don't, you are going to get someone saying, I thought that this shirt was a 33, but when I put it on, it's not long enough in the front. Or I put this shirt on and it's shorter in the front than it is in the back. Is it supposed to be like that? Because a lot of people don't realize, especially in these Y2K polos, that they are almost always short and long. Now, there is a few that aren't. I think the US Assassin polos and a few of the Golf ones aren't as much like that. But your just standard everyday run-of-the-mill polo is going to have that. So you want to get both of those in there. Mrs. Risner, welcome in. How was school today? For any of you that don't know, Mrs. Risner probably isn't a teacher, but I have made it in my head that she's a 4th grade teacher because she literally knows everything. Should we be washing every item that we list? And that's a great question. I don't do everything. So this is probably going to sound a little gross, but you guys saw me doing it the other night. So when I do an unboxing of the stuff we've gotten from a garage sale, I just kind of do the sniff test. So I'll hold it up. If I can smell that it smells like laundry detergent, I'm not going to worry about washing it. But if it's got a scent, or if it's got dirt or stains, or there's goobers in the pocket or something, then I am going to wash it. But if you tried to wash, let's say that you're trying to list 10 items a day. Let's just go with 10. You're trying to list 10 items a day, and you wanted to wash every single thing. Well, here's the problem with that. You are going to have an electricity bill that is never going to pay for the amount of money that you need to spend on washing and cleaning. You would have to mark your stuff up so much in order for you to make any money that it really just honestly wouldn't be worth it. So I only wash stuff if I have to. What do you guys think, resellers that are in here? What is your opinions on that? When my son was first reselling, and he's the one that actually got me into doing this, he was washing every single thing. And he mainly does jeans. He's the one that turned me on to doing Levi's. And he was washing every single one. And he got the power bill came and it was like $270. More than what it was supposed to be. So no pair of jeans is going to make that worth it. Hey, Will, only if it has petrified cough drops in the pocket. Jen is someone I want to hang out with in real life, because Jen always cracks me up. Like you have my sense of humor. I already know it. I can just tell. Vicky says that she does the same thing. I go to the bins and wash everything. Caveat. Bailey, yes. So if you are going to the bins, that's an absolutely. I have yet to go to any of the bins. I've never been to the bins. I've only been to our Goodwill once in this town, and I've been here a year, and I've been to our little thrift store like 4 times. That's it. So I haven't experienced any of that. I think the stuff at Goodwill, the regular Goodwill seems more clean, but I've watched some videos of the bins. I've watched 100 videos of the bins, and it looks like there's some adventurous stuff in those bins. Most of the time you see people wearing gloves. So Halo, and Evans, hey guys. Tenacious says I'm afraid of the bins. I'm a little hesitant too. I think I might have fun, but like I've heard some really good things and I've heard some sketchy things. For those of you that do the bins, why don't you guys leave a tip? So what is a good tip or a pointer for other resellers going to the bins? What are some things to help the situation go better? Coley, they just opened a new Goodwill bin location near me. I'm not sure I'm brave enough. Girl, I hear you. I haven't been either. Gracefully, Gigi, Cheryl, and my pretty Lacey are here. Okay, let's get these up. So this is a pair of little Dickies. This is a brand that I almost always pick up. Now, their newer stuff doesn't do as well as like the Y2K or the 90s stuff. But if I can get it for cheap, I'll pick it up. Dickies is one of those brands that used to be a little harder to find. You really could only find Dickies stuff in like surplus stores, or you'd have to go to like a workwear store. You just couldn't really get Dickies anywhere. And then they started selling in more mainstream stores. I mean, you could start getting them, at Kohl's or a store like that. And so they just became a little bit more of a department store brand. However, if you can get them for cheap enough, I always think it's a pickup. I don't ever have a hard time selling Dickies stuff. I think with Dickies, though, it's really important that you use descriptive and keywords, because you're trying to compete with so many people out there, right? There's so many people that are selling pants and all sorts of stuff, that using your descriptive and keywords, especially on brands where there's a lot of it on the market, meaning Dickies or Levi's or Miss Me's or anything like that, your descriptive words are going to be what gets you into the algorithm. So for instance, on a pair like this, there's a whole bunch of different aesthetics that this is going to fit. So this is going to fit skater girl. This is going to fit indie, which is INDIE. This is going to fit emo. This is going to fit cowgirl because of a little bit of boot cut. But then this is also workwear. So this is like a hostess or a bartender, or someone can wear these. So this is workwear, utility, casual, goth. There's just so many different trigger words that you can use for something like this. So you just really need to make sure you're getting those in the descriptions, because that's going to be what helps to set you apart from other people that are not doing that. That's why I picked these up. Well, and they were $1. I wouldn't pay probably more than like $3 maximum for these, because you're just not going to get a return on your investment for that. Oh, pretty Lacey, I learned so much from you. You inspire me. Well, thank you. You're going to give me the red cheeks tonight. I appreciate that. Makes me feel good. We've got some tips in here for the bins. Jen says she's any bins near me. I'd love to go through it though. Are you an Aquabats fan? You know what? I know what the Aquabats are. I couldn't point out any of their music. If you're talking about the Rockabilly Band, I don't know much about them. That's a little out of my wheelhouse of the music I listen to. There is an Aquabats comic as well. I don't know if you're talking about that, unless I'm totally making that up, which I very well could be. I stay away from when they bring out new bins, wait for everyone to clear out. Well, yeah, otherwise you're going to get ran over by a t-shirt boy. Always bring gloves, says Envy. A lot of people most of the time be there when they open and know what to look for. That's a good tip. That's a great tip, actually. Any other tips for going to the bins, guys? I mean, ska, thank you. Not rockabilly. Yeah, ska's an interesting one for me. I just really never got into it. I think actually the Aquabats have probably played at shows I've been to, because that whole kind of music really had its moment. And I went to every single Warped tour and every single music festival you could think of. I went every single year from start to finish. So I saw a lot of bands that played. I mean, I've probably seen 10,000 bands. So I've maybe seen them, but I couldn't point their music out. Is it a recommend ? Is it something I should check out? I mainly do like, I would say my two biggest genres of music would be punk, meaning like surf skate punk, not like the really super hardcore, just like raw, like that stuff is like a little bit too much for me. Like I just get a little like, because I'm already an anxious person, I get a little nervous. but I would love to go to one of those shows. I just think I'd probably be like a little nervous about that. And then I also am really into, which is like totally different kind of music, but I'm really into like dubstep. I'm really into like Zomboy and Skrillex and stuff like that. So I kind of do a little bit. I do a little bit of both there. All right, so we've got our Dickies pants here. Can I ask a question? Oh, Debbie wants to ask Mrs. Risner. Ask Mrs. Risner because she knows. They are friends of ours. I was just wondering. Well, Mrs. Risner, now I have to listen to them. So I will be listening to them this evening. My gosh, of course I will. Yeah, I don't know, Scott. I just never really got that into it. It had its moment and I didn't have the moment along with it. But that's rad. Like, what a great thing to be able to say. Heck yeah. All right, let's see. What is our Dickies measurements here? So they are a size 5. We've got ankle. Now, I think it's very, very important to put the ankle width down in your listings. And you can do it really easily. Just take your little ruler, go across, because people like to visualize, like, especially for women's clothes, because they're going to be asking themselves, like, what am I going to wear with this? What shoes am I going to wear with this? Right. And then they have to see that, like, oh, those 7.5 across. So 14 inches. Okay. So my boots would fit with that. Or, oh, my docs would fit with that. That's what they're thinking. So I think it's super important to do the ankles. It doesn't take you much time and it really, really helps. The other thing that I do is hips. So on women's jeans, the hips are going to be right about here at the bottom of the fly. You want to just get across, because women, our shapes kind of most of the time go in a little bit here and then go out. People want to know, like, okay, if it fits me on the waist here, how's it going to fit me in through here? And so I always put the hips down. I didn't used to. That's something I just started doing within the last few months. And it seems like the pants I put that on are selling better than my old ones. Man, guys, I'm literally still going through my old listings. I'm trying to tackle like 10 a day, and it's taking time. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a minute for me to get through all of those, because I have to go in and manually change the descriptions of all of them because they're so bad. And then everything's linked in Vendu to my old zip code. Everything's linked to old USPS priority mail. It doesn't even have Ground Advantage on there. So I am having an adventure. That is for sure. All right, let's move over to another pair of pants here. This is not something I would have ever spent money on at a thrift store. I got them at a garage sale for $1. I think that these are, no, I think these came like this. I couldn't tell if someone cut this, but it looks like, I don't know. I'll have to look them up. But these are 7s. Now, when you're out in the wild, 7 is not 7 for all mankind. It's a completely different brand. This brand is not a huge, giant seller. These will probably sell for like $16 or $17. But because of the embroidery and the stitch, I'm able to do thick stitch. I'm able to do MMA, biker, bike life, cycle life, motorcore, rock and roll, concert. I'm able to just do so many different, when I'm looking at things out in the wild to buy at a garage sale, what I'm thinking to myself is, what descriptive words and trigger words can I use on that? And if I know it's something that I can sell because those descriptors sell a lot, then it's something I'm going to pick up, as long as it's a reasonable price. So we're going to get these measured out here. Nice little pair of distressed capris. And these will probably sell on Depop. I can't imagine that with them being this distressed and the potential that somebody cut these off, I can't imagine that these sell anywhere but Depop. But we'll probably get, maybe like $13 or something for these. And we'll make a little bit on the shipping, because I always pad my shipping a little bit to cover all my costs. So if I'm getting them for $1 and I'm able to sell them for that, then it makes sense. So I think, when you're out there and you're out in the wild and you're looking for stuff, you want to, consider a few things. Of course, you want to consider, like, what can I make for profits? What are the comps on this? But also you want to consider, like, who is my customer? Am I buying this because I think it's cute? Or am I buying this because it's what's popular right now? and I can think of a ton of different descriptors and trigger words that are going to help it to sell. So those are kind of the questions you want to be asking yourself versus like, oh, that's pretty cute, or oh, I just heard that, that brand went well. It's like, well, yeah, the brand might sell, but what if it's like a hideous looking version of that? I think a great example of that would be like Peter Millar shirts, right? So Peter Millar shirts, you can do really well on them, or they can sit in your inventory for a year. And a lot of that has to do with what is the look of it. What is the print? Is it a black watch plaid? Is it a checkerboard? Does it have an indie aesthetic? Does it have a classic core aesthetic? Who is the guy that's wearing this? Is it even popular in society right now? Or is it like a weird purple and orange striped, and just your audience for that is so much smaller than if it's like, like right now I'd be looking for shirts that have red and green and white on them, because you're going to be able to do Christmas, holiday, Christmas party, office party, Santa, all the Christmas things you can think of. That's going to sell, because the key is, who is your audience? And is it someone that's buying it right now? Or is it just me thinking, oh, I heard, so-and-so resellers say that it's an amazing, oh, wow, I'm having a really wicked deja vu right now. Whoa, I love that. That always means I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing in life. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That was serious. Whoa. Okay, moving right along. So you're asking yourself the question, am I only buying this thing because I heard a reseller tell me that it's a good brand, or not? I had someone sent me a message earlier today, and I don't want to say who it was, because if they don't want me to, I don't want to say anything. But I had someone send me a message and say, hey, I heard that you talk about how Hunter boots sell really well. And they do. Hunter boots, I can't keep in my inventory. They sell really well, especially we're going into fall and winter. They'll sell even better now. And so I told this person, yeah, they sell. And we started talking back and forth, and they asked me questions, and then they said, well, this is the condition they're in. I think I'm going to leave them because of these things. And I said, yes, that's perfect, because you don't want to pick something up just because another reseller said it was good. You need to see, what is the condition of this? Who is buying this item? Is there any flaws? Is it popular right now? Is it the right aesthetic? Is it the right color? Like, is it going to sit in my inventory because there's a ton of flaws with it? Don't buy it then. When I first started doing this, guys, I can't even tell you how many things I bought because another reseller told me that it was a good brand. Now, I love that they told me that, because it's helped me learn brands, but they would tell you the same thing. Don't get it just because it's the brand. Get it because you know who it's going to sell to. Where do you put your descriptive words? Yo, Southern, I put them at the bottom of every one of my listings. If you find me on any of the platforms, go into any listing I have, and you'll see at the bottom there, underneath my disclaimer, that says like, please check photos for measurements, ships fast, my little disclaimer thing. Underneath that, I put those trigger words and those in the description, followed by my SKU. Do you ship the item in those plastic bags? Yes, I do. Now, if you are a newer reseller and you have not started budgeting these kind of materials in, I didn't at the beginning. So at the very beginning, I couldn't afford to put them in anything except for the poly bags. And I even had to buy the poly bags in like groups of 50, because I just could not afford anything more than that. And so at first I was just putting them straight in these little poly bags, the cheapest ones I could find that were actually really terrible. Then I started getting Ziploc bags from Costco. So Costco will run those big sales where they'll have like gallons and quarts and everything. So I started stocking up on those until I could afford getting these bags. And I get them now in groups of like 1,000 or 2,000 or something like that. And so you save even more money if you get them like that. The reason I ship them in here is just because you just never know the weather, right? Especially going into winter. And let's face it, the post office and UPS is rough on the poly bags. Those machines are rough on the poly bags. So for me, I want to make sure that that item is protected. So the answer is yes. Southern is exhausted. Finally uploading the video for the day. Oh my goodness. Southern literally spit my seltzer water out earlier. I hope you know that that actually happened. So descriptive words don't have to be in the title. No. In fact, you should have your title not only in the title, but you should also have your title in the listing itself, because the algorithms pull from the title and it also pulls from the descriptions. Oh, I got a gift. Memphis, I got a gift. Thanks, you guys. Oh, did we already meet our little live goal? I'm getting a notification. Oh, yep, we did. TikTok sent me a little notification. You've already met your goal. Wait, puts this. What do I do? Pin? Oh my goodness. I don't even know what I'm doing. Yeah, Snap Dabble for sure. Yes, I think one of the reasons that I do well on Depop is because of that. I don't really see a lot of other people doing it. I mean, we may now because I talk about it all the time, but I mean, how many people are actually watching me do this? It's not the world. There's millions of people out there. All right, so our ankles, which is actually the knee on this, is an 8. And inseam is 17.5. I really feel like this person made these. I feel like these are an upcycle. And then our rise is a 7.5. And our hips are 19. I only say that because I've never seen 7s like this before. And then our waist is going to be a 35. And yeah. Oh, Southern's going to be back. All right. Okay, drink of seltzer. Where'd you get your backdrop? Jose, that's a good question. If you go over to my YouTube, I made a whole video on this. You'll just get your question answered much better through the video. It's a super short little video. It'll tell you exactly how I did it and what I used. We the people, by the people, and for the people is here. That always reminds me of Kindergarten Cop. Anybody else love that movie? Anybody? Kindergarten Cop? Oh, filmed in Astoria, Oregon. I love that movie. It's probably like easily my top 15 favorite movies. In fact, I just watched it. Did we just meet another goal already? Oh my gosh, you guys. That's insane. You guys aren't messing around. All right, so you got a little Batik Bay. This is a silk shirt. If you can get Hawaiian shirts in silk, always pick them up, even if it's off season, because people vacation. So even though we're headed into cooler weather, I want you to think of how many people go on vacation, like for Christmas and stuff like that, and they're going to other climates. And so I would highly suggest picking up any silk shirts you see. They may not sell as well as they would in summertime, but they'll still sell. I mean, we got this for $1, so you can't go wrong. Also on men's shirts that are like this, that have that like flowy feel to it, I usually take a measurement down here as well, because the guy that's buying this probably is like a dad core situation. And so, you know, he's going to probably need a little bit of room down in here, I would say. And so I always take a picture of that bottom, just so the person knows what that sizing is. I know my husband likes to know on his, like what size his shirts are going to be at the bottom too. That's like a deal breaker or a deal maker for him on the shirts that he wears. Hustle! Hustle! Thanks for the heart. Thanks. All right, let's get a picture of this. Also make sure that you put that it's silk in your listing. That is a big seller. Big seller. This is also a machine washable silk, which just makes it even better. And it has extra button. This is the other thing. So if you're doing men's dress shirts, always get a picture that it has extra buttons. That will also, all those little things, friends, all those little things are what help people to decide between your item and someone else's. Let's say that this guy is looking at shirts and he's got 3 shirts in his cart and he's trying to figure out which one he wants to get. He's like, oh, but that one's got the extra buttons. Now the other two might have extra buttons too, but he or she who puts the most details in will always win. That's what I think. That is my opinion on that, and I'm sticking to it. So we got 961, and that's our Batik Bay. And I'm going to write silk on here so I don't forget that. I believe that was an extra large. See, I already forgot. That's why we write these things down, right? And it looks like our bottom hem is a 34.5. Actually, it's almost 35, but we are going to round down. Our chest area is a 25 across, 50 around. Our length is going to be 20. We're going to call that 28 because I don't want them saying it's too short. And then we're going to do our shoulders at 18.5. What is your YouTube channel? It's just Nice Comps. You can find me. Oh, Justin's over there. Hey, Justin Lime. Happy to see you. Yeah, it's I'm Nice Comps everywhere, friends and guys and family. Anywhere you look, you will find me there. Okay, next thing we've got here is another Batik Bay. Now this is a rayon. So these are two different guys. So the guy that's getting this silk one wants that a little bit more like rich kind of aesthetic. This dude is out there with his family probably. In my opinion, this is going to be an unpopular opinion. I almost think the rayon shirts are better in these because the flow is easier and they just don't wrinkle as bad. But people like what they like. If I was the one buying it, I probably would go with the rayon. But as we all know, I'm sweatpants fancy, so I usually wind up liking the stuff that's not as luxury. It's got a little thread here, so we're just going to clip that and make sure no holes or anything weird. When you're doing these kind of shirts, if they have that little pull, all you got to do is clip up at the top. Do not try to burn them off. Do not try to burn them off. If they're Chacos and you want to burn them off, great. Don't burn them off on a shirt. You will burn the shirt. Did it. That's why I know. So all you got to do is pull that string up and then clip the very top of it. Most people will try to clip it next to where the shirt is. You want to clip that top and then just pull a little bit because the strings will go back in. If you clip too close and you pull, then you're going to create a pinhole. So that works really well if you do it, if you pull up. And then if you ever, if you want after that, if you still see some threads hanging out after you've pulled it taut, then you can do that. But, oh man, this is cool. I didn't even notice this. This has American flags all woven into this. Wow. This would have done really well for like summertime, but I did not have it yet because we just got it from our garage sale. Otherwise, that would have been like, man, the aesthetic on that 4th of July and all that. However, with this being an election year and everything, I think anything that's got that theme is doing really well. At least for me, I've definitely sold quite a few things because of that. So we're going to get a picture of the bottom down here. Perfect. And then we're going to flip this baby. I know you guys, if you've been here before, have heard me talk about it, but if you have not invested into some twistable hangers, I would put that on your list. So I don't ever encourage anyone to spend more than they're making. I repeat this. I don't want anyone to ever spend more money than you're making. The whole idea of this is to create income, right? And just like we're learning through things over time, we can also buy things over time. So what I did is I would stick things into my cart on various different websites. And then as I'd get paid, I would take a little bit of each money and I would buy something. And I think I just showed this. I think it was either earlier today or last night. This is a new thing to hold my iPad up because right now my iPad, you guys are being held up by basically a phone holder that I've made into an iPad holder. It works. It's fine. But if I bump my table, it hits it. So this sat in my cart for weeks. And then when I got cashed out on Poshmark or Mercari or something. And then I just went in and got that. So just, you just think of that as like your cost of spending. I just don't want anyone to ever feel like you have to have every single little thing possible to get this business going. You want to, be making money, not breaking money. I hope that that makes sense. Yeah. Perfect, Lanisa. Awesome. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for the share, DW. How come I don't see the brush in your link? Is my motorized one? Are you talking about the thing that I use for cleaning shoes? Are you talking about this thing? This thing here? This is the thing I use for cleaning shoes. Is this what you're talking about? Yes, it should be in there. So if you go into that link to the A store, if you go to, there's all these different like little subcategories. There's one that's called clean these shoes. It should be in there. If you don't see it in there, let me know. I just checked. I just think I saw it in there like a couple days ago. But sometimes when things are sold out, then people can't see it. So yeah, Ascension, take a look in there. If you don't see it, let me know, because that's going to be a bummer. I think every single person on the planet should get that's doing shoes, because the fact that I don't have to scrub anything ever again, that is a life-changing situation. I will never have to use a toothbrush to scrub. I will never have to have my shoulders hurt ever, ever, ever again. I was hoping it would work that well. It's not technically for shoes, but that's what we're using it for. Hey, Erie. All right, so this is an XL. Oh, this is an XLT too. This sector is going shale. And this is a rayon one. And then what we got for our measurements here? So we've got bottom is 23.5. We've got a chest of 24. We have a length of 32. And our shoulders are 18.5. All right, man, Depop. See, look at this. I'm telling you, ever since I'm telling you that Depop thing is true. I got offers come in, notifications, and it was like crickets for days. Now, could be that it wasn't payday. Could be. You never know. But a little suspicious. Okay, another Polo Ralph Lauren. This one's a little bit newer. And I can just tell because of the tag. This is going to be more like a 2016, maybe, I would say, something right in there, maybe a 2017. But I bought it because it's a 2XLT. Big stuff like this, any of these larger sizes, it is a non-negotiable for me. It is always a pickup as long as it is a good size, or a good price. If this was like $5 or $6, I probably wouldn't pick it up because I'm not going to make enough on it. But if it's, like a couple bucks, then I'm going to do that. I think that if I was doing like Goodwill and thrift stores and stuff, I think I'd have to change when I source a little bit. Otherwise, I think I'd just be spinning my wheels. I see how hard you guys are working out there, going to the thrift store and seeing the pricing of stuff. And I mean, I don't even want to get worked up about it because I will literally go off in 5 hours. But you guys are working hard. I watch the videos. Like, I see what you guys are seeing out there for the pricing on stuff. And I respect the hustle, man. It's rough out there these days. That's for sure. I can remember being a kid and going to the thrift store and it was like, 25 cents for everything. And that is not real life anymore, huh, folks? Please take this as a compliment. I'm listening, going through listings, adding descriptive words. Yeah. High five, Debbie, high five. Ding. Got it. I'll be ordering some stuff. Perfect. Awesome. Oh, Amber, hey, I'm so excited to see you. So Amber is, do you guys remember when I was live yesterday, I was talking about a reseller that I've kind of recently come across, and she's got some really good information. So I have really been enjoying watching your videos. She does estate sales and thrift store stuff, and she does like little haul videos in the car and stuff. If you guys aren't following her, check her out. She also does a bunch of other stuff too. Are you doing like a podcast And like, girl, you wear me. I don't even know what you're doing. You wear me out. It's like she's got a million things going on. Hey, C-E-127. She says, haha, yeah. Hey, you know what? I love it. There is nothing wrong with the hustle, right? No hustle, no heart. All right, so we get $9.89 on here for our SKU. So like I said with these polos, if you're finding them and they have this tag, so you can see how this one looks a little different than the other ones. This is going to be a newer one, whereas this is going to be a little bit older. So if you look here, let me hold these two up. You'll notice that this tag just looks beefier. So this is probably more like a 2012. This tag looks a little bit wimpier, and they just get wimpier and wimpier over time, right? When you find those double back ones or those super beefy ones, then you know you're getting more early Y2K. Here's an earlier one. Look at that. Look at the beefy. Look at that tag. Look at that thick boy. That is a thick boy, and it's a Pima cotton. So that's a for sure pickup. Pima is like a softer cotton. And a lot of guys really like wearing that. All right, let's see. What do we got for our specs on here? So we got 2XLT, and this is our polo. Polo shirts don't generally have the year on them. They usually have a supplier number, which doesn't mean anything. The only way that you get to know the year is just honestly from listing enough of them and just following me or other resellers that sell this stuff and just learning through the ropes. I mean, that's how I learned. I wish everything would date stamp like Levi's do, because I can read those in 2 seconds, but that is just not the way it works, unfortunately. That's a wishful thinking, right? Hi, hello, Polo Assassin. Yeah, Ralph Lauren. This is Charity. I know, AKA Nice Comps. Hey, I was just wondering if there's any way you could start date stamping your stuff, because I want to resell your stuff that I find at a garage sale for $1, and I want to sell that to people online. So if you could just start doing that, that'd be great. Yeah, I don't think they're going to listen to me. All right, so our lengths are 31 and 33, because remember with polos that they generally have 2 different sizes there. And our shoulders are 20.5 on that. We have filled this page, and we are on to the next page. We're going to do about 20 more minutes here, friends, and then I am going to eat dinner. On the dinner menu tonight is something that my husband's going to make, and it's always a surprise, so I never know. The kitchen is a very dangerous place for me, so I tend to stay out of it. I can bake sourdough bread really well, but it's an injury-ridden place for me. I have had more visits to the medical places with cut fingers, severe burns, broken toes. These are all things that have happened to me in the kitchen. You know what I think it is? It's just, I'm such a busy person that like my brain is literally 475 miles faster than my body. And so my body often doesn't talk to my brain, and they do 2 different things. So I think that's what happens to me in the kitchen. It's a dangerous place. It's not a spot for me. Whenever Justin sharpens the knives, he literally is like, okay, wife, I want you to understand, I sharpened the knives in the drawer. The brown handled one is the sharpest. Please don't touch that. There are other knives in there that aren't quite as sharp, but just remember, when you use the knife, hold it on the top. Don't grab it by the blade. And guys, he's not being condescending or weird about it. He literally is right. I don't know what it is. It's been like that since I was a little kid. It is a sketchy room for me. Hey, I have some of the items sell that have been sitting. I report. Ooh, Debbie, I'm excited to hear if that works. Yes. Put those words in there. You could even maybe give it a delist and a relist. That way it'll get a little fresh bump. Because I'm interesting. Oh, Amber, good. I'm glad you're getting some good info. Yeah. Hey, Jen. All right. So we've got moving on. Everyone's going to ask me about my super fancy notebook. This was free $99 because this is an old notebook that I had in the house. And all I did was just take a ruler and a magic marker. So it's not fancy. It's just literally something you can make at home. I'll just sit down and, pop on a show or something and make a couple things. It really only takes me about 45 seconds to make a page, but I just thought that I would probably get that question of like, what are you writing? What are you doing? So, all right. And this is going to be number 990. This is a 2XL. I'm surprised it's not an XLT because it is definitely a long boy, but it is not. It's just a 2XL, and it's a regular cotton. Because it's a newer one, it probably, or new-ish one, it probably hasn't just been dried that much. So it probably is like still looking longer to me. Nurse is here. Wonderful. Hey, Nurse. Oh, Jen, thank you for the follow. And Jean is here. Jean, Jen, and Nurse. Sugar. All right, we're getting this in. 990 is our number. And let's take a look. And just remembering with those polo shirts, make sure you get those links of the front and the back. And we have our bottom is 23 on that. Our chest is 24, so 48 around. Our length is going to be 30 and 32 front and back. And then our shoulder is going to be 18.5. Baby, moving on. All right, our next item here is a nice little cottage core item. I picked this up at a garage sale. I paid $3 for it. You guys know I'm the haggler. I tried to haggle this lady down to $1 or $2. She ain't having it. So I was willing to pay $3 though, because I know that I'm going to be able to sell this either on Poshmark or Depop. This is such a cottage core, lagoon look, cabin core, homemaker, farm, 80s, retro, vintage. I mean, this tag is like ancient. Is this made in? No, it's not made in USA, but it's a Mandel Bay, which is a really old brand. I don't even know if they're around anymore, but they did a lot of this, and it's corduroy. And these buttons are seeds. They're supposed to look like seeds. They're little wooden buttons. So it just has all these crazy unique things on here. This should fetch a pretty good price because of the aesthetic of this. So let's get a nice little picture here and make sure it looks true to color. And I think that looks pretty gosh darn good to me. And then we are going to get kind of some close-ups here. Important on your photos, whenever you've got stuff that has patches or embroidery or 3D, you want to make sure you're getting a side image of that, because you've got two different buyers. I think we've talked a little bit about this before. You've got your kinesthetic buyers and you got your cognitive buyers. So your kinesthetic buyers are going to be the people that buy things because of photos, and your cognitive buyers are going to be people that buy things because of your descriptions. So if a kinesthetic learner or a kinesthetic buyer is interested in this item, and I only put that it's embroidered, or I add the thing about the seed buttons and all that in the description, they ain't reading it, right? But if I do the photos of it and do sideways and show that this is an embroidered item, that it has that patchwork on it, I'm so much more likely to sell this to a kinesthetic learner. And that way I'm hitting 100% of the population instead of just 50% of the population. So not only are we putting in the description, that it's got 3D embroidery, 3D buttons, however you want to write that, but we're also going to have that in the photo and in the description, and that's going to make a really big difference for you. That is something I wish I would have done from the beginning. I did not do that in the beginning because I didn't even think about it. And then, I have a background in marketing, and I know that. I know better than to not, market to kinesthetic and cognitive. It's interesting when you switch from one career to another, you just don't even think about that kind of stuff sometimes, It just doesn't even like cross your mind. So I just recently started thinking about that. Nurse, I am very happy to see you too. I saw the invite that you sent me to watch, I think it was Hustles. Oh, I was already 9 nights. I was already asleep. You guys are late birds. How much would you list this for? You know, I'm going to have to comp this, but I really honestly think I can probably get somewhere in the $60 range for this one. 50 duckies. All right. And this is so long that we actually are going to have to use measuring tape on this because my ruler is even too short for that. So this is a nice long dress. Oh, this is going to do really well. This one's going to do really well. Now, I may do my little trick on this one. And I may mark this. You guys may notice this. There's a few things in my inventory on any of the platforms, especially Depop. You may notice that the pricing just seems like really high for what the item is. And you're like, wow, that nice comps, she's really out of touch on why what pricing should be. Here's the thing, I do it on purpose. So if you have a few things in your inventory that are priced kind of high, but you know they're fire, and you know that people are going to be clicking on it and looking at it, and it's going to get a lot of clicks, and it's going to be in the algorithm, and it's going to get a lot of likes, this trick works best on Depop, but it can work, of course, on the other platforms. I mark high because if my page is getting a lot of likes and traffic, I can end up being a featured item. And if you're a featured item, it just drives people to your page. So something like this that's like fire is something I may mark a little higher because I know it's going to sell eventually. Even if I have to mark it down 6 times or relist it and delist it, this is something that I know is going to sell. So I don't have a problem with kind of playing with it in my inventory a little bit just to get that little bit of extra love. I think a lot of times, you know, if you're a new reseller though, and you need to make that money back on your investment, just make your money back. That's more important. But if you can have things, you know, hang out in your inventory for a minute, take a few of those fire pieces, delist and relist them, put them at a higher price, make sure you put a ton of trigger words in it, boost it, promote it, do whatever you need to do, because it's probably not going to sell at that higher price, but it is going to drive the traffic algorithmically to you. So that's a little tip there that may help you. Sandy's here, and Kimberly, thank you for the follow. Kimberly is the name of one of my cousins, and it's a fantastic name. All right, 991 is our cottage core, prairie core, log and look, farm core, school teacher. That is definitely, I guess you could call it a statement piece. I think that's what we'll start calling those. We'll start calling them statement pieces. What do you guys think? I think that's a pretty good one. And it says it's a size medium, which honestly doesn't really mean anything in this because it's like such an old dress that people are going to have to go off the measurements. So it is 41.5 in length. It is, the bottom hem is 25. The chest is 19 across, 38 around. It says it's a medium. It would fit a little closer to a large, I think. But, and then shoulders are 13. Yeah. So see, by doing those pictures, see that sideways picture? People are getting a feel for that. Same thing with this one here. Oh no, did it not? It didn't snap. All right, we're gonna take that out because I want to get a picture of that. Same thing with these seeds. I clicked the button. I clicked it. I want to get a picture of these seeds sideways because I want people to be able to see that. I probably talked about it and then probably didn't actually click it. That is highly, highly possible. There we go. All right, and then I'll show you guys that here in a second too. What a cute dress. It totally reminds me of something that my first grade teacher or my kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Parr, would have worn this, or Mrs. Dewey. Either of them. Mrs. Risner, are you wearing this? Mrs. Risner is like, I am not a teacher. You're a teacher to all of us. Okay, so in that photo there, that person's going to be able to see that those buttons, those little seeds are raised up. So that's a neat little thing. Here's another pickup, something I would not normally get. This is a newer Columbia. It is a dress, which is really unique. I haven't seen really many of these. It's almost like a swimsuit cover up, but it's like a silky feeling. It was $1. So I wish I would have had it this summer, because the lady that bought this would have been a lady that's going on a cruise. But hopefully we'll find some winter cruisers, and she'll pick it up. Oh, it looks really good on camera. It's always interesting to me when I buy women's clothes like this, because I never really know how fast it's going to sell, because that's just not an aesthetic that I am outrageously familiar with. You know, I watch Spencer, and she's so good with like knowing all the brands for stuff. I learned about Bowden dresses from her, and what is it, American Heritage, I think. It's just brands I'd never even heard of. And so this is something I took a chance on. Like I said, it's not something I normally would buy, but for $1, it also has the PFG performance gear. So I think technically it's supposed to be for fishing. I don't know how that works. I don't know who's fishing in this, but because of that PFG, anything like that's going to really help to seal the deal and make that sale. I don't even know what this is worth. I couldn't even tell you what this will comp for. I would have zero guesses. No, 100% zero guesses. So we will just see. But you know what? As long as I make $5 on it, then we're good, because I spent $1. I'm sure I'm going to make more than that on that. But we will find out. This is going in a little bag. That's a little easy peasy lemon squeezy. And that is number 963. Who else is listening tonight? Anybody else listening? Hustle probably is. Hey, Design Co. and Lucy. Oh, I love that name. That is one of my favorite girl names ever. I love that name so much. So that's a small, and that is the PFG, and that's our Columbia. And then our measurements on that are hem is 23. Our length looks like 30.5. Our chest or bust, in this case, because it's a woman's, is 14.5. And then our shoulders are, looks like about an 11.5. So it's definitely a small petite. Havoc's working, Hustle's working, Gracious is working, Hustle, then packing. Packing shipping orders, or packing to go on vacation or something? I've already listed and cross-listed working on photos for tomorrow. Yeah, Jennifer, you and I together. Working on listing some Christmas sweaters. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I need to list tonight. I found my first Veronica beard ever today. Boom. Where'd you find that? Bailey says that Bailey's working too. Hey, Barbara. Good find. Good find. You know what I have never found in the wild that I always see people talk about is I've never found athleisure. I know Amber said she found one recently. And I've never found Johnny Was. But I don't go to a lot of thrift stores. Most people I see that find those are finding them like at like thrift stores and stuff like that. But I've never found those either. So I've only found Lululemon once. I found a pair of leggings I bought them for $5 and they sold for like 65. But yeah, but then again, I'll be honest, guys, I'm at a garage sale. I'm turning and burning, and I'm generally looking at the guys' stuff. I will glance at the women's stuff, but I usually am not buying a whole bunch of women's stuff. So for me, it's definitely not. I just don't know enough. I don't know enough yet. I'm learning, always stretching, always going, right? That's why we watch each other, is so that we can, find out what people are getting in the wild to find to flip. That's how we do it. That's how we learn. That's how I got started too. Goodness, I think I followed Bearded and K-Way and Wild and Almost Free for so long before I felt comfortable enough even to try, wheeling and dealing at garage sales. I look back when I was first garage selling and I was mainly looking for hard goods. I wasn't looking for clothing as much. And I always think about how many Levi's I probably passed up on. I know that sounds so silly, but I love selling Levi's. They always sell for me. I always do really well with them. So I just think about the number of Levi's I passed up because I was just looking for video games and I was looking for hard goods at the time. So, oh my gosh, the number of like vintage Y2K stuff I probably passed up on. LOL. Johnny was one of my first finds in the PJ section at Goodwill, $4.99. Boom. I've only found Lululemon at garage sales. Jen, that's so funny because I've never seen it at garage. I've only one time. Remember them good old days when you got $65 for Lululemon leggings? Yeah, right. I know. I probably, because I sold those a while ago. I mean, that was like maybe 4 months ago I sold those. They were, I will say that they were a super unique pair. They had like Lululemon written down the side in like this graffiti style, like a graphic print. And it had been a collab. I don't remember now exactly who it was, but it was a collab. Some artist had designed it for Lululemon. So it was kind of like a sought out thing. Yeah, I was at it. Oh, you know what? That's not true. I did see Lululemon recently. I went to a garage sale when I did that 122 garage sale day, and there was a gal there, and it was late too. This was at the very end of the garage sailing. So this was at like maybe like 1:30. And I walked up and I saw a stack of Lululemon leggings, and it was like pink, yellow, blue, white, black, like all the different colors. And I was like, all right, if those are still here at 1:30 in the afternoon, then somebody is selling those. She's selling them for too much. So I just walked over and looked at them. And usually when you find the one items at the garage sale that people don't really want to part with, that they marked up like crazy, usually when you find that, they'll just tell you how much it is. You don't have to even ask. Have you ever noticed that? Like if I'm selling a tape measure or something, or I see a tape measure, I'm like, how much for this? Or like $1. But if it's like, a $50 item that they want to get $45 on, the second you touch it, they'll be like, I'm asking 45 on that. So anyways, I walked over and all I did was touch these leggings. And the girl goes, oh, I'm asking $20 a piece for those Lululemons. I bought them retail. They were like $75 when I bought them. So I'm asking 25 for the blacks. I'm asking 25 for the whites. I'm asking 30 for the pinks, 30 for the greens. And I was like, yeah, I was like, okay, you're trying to be nice, but I'm like, obviously completely uninterested. I'm like walking away and she's still talking. And I'm like, okay, well, good luck. I hope you sell everything. Yeah, those Lululemon leggings went right back in her drawer. I'm like, ain't nobody coming to a garage sale to buy your, potentially washed or unwashed Lululemon leggings. At least in my opinion. I found Johnny was at the bins. Whoa, Denise. Yeah, Jessica. And I'm walking away. I was like, yeah, okay. Oh, awesome. Wonderful. I hope you sell anything. Okay, have a great day. Nice to meet you. Gets in car, goes over, finds some fire vintage Ralph Lauren pants that are already sold for $1. Sold them for $60. That's my kind of garage sale. That is my kind of garage sale. All right, the chest on our Pima cotton here is 26 across. We've got our sleeves at 26. We've got our length in the front is 30, and then the back we've got 32.5. And then for our shoulders, we've got 21. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to do one more item tonight, and then I'm going to jam out of here. This is a older Ralph Lauren. How can I tell the label? That's just an older labeled. Let's see. I highly doubt it's going to be dated, but maybe crossing fingers once in a great while. Oh no, this isn't even a side seam. Oh no, it's a side seam. Let's see. Yeah, no, we're not getting a date on this one. If I had to guess on this, I would say, let's see, it's a made in Singapore. So probably a 2014. I'm going to go with a 2014 or a 2013 on this. Now, If you are not picking up this kind of stuff right now and getting this in your inventory, you lost it, because this is Christmas, guys. This is Christmas all day. So when you're out there in the wild right now and you see anything with the red and green, remember, it doesn't even matter so much about the brand. The brand is nice, but your descriptive words: holiday, Christmas, Santa, Christmas party, office party, date night, sweetheart, New Year's, 2025. I mean, all of those words you can think of, you're going to be able to put those as descriptive words in, and you're going to be able to sell that item. I don't make any promises. I'm not in your store. I'm not taking your pictures and all that kind of stuff. But your chances of selling something this time of year with that are really high. So I have a feeling this will probably go pretty quickly. I may even play with the price on this one a little bit because it is so nice, and it is a really unique Ralph Lauren. I've never seen one like this before. So I'm kind of excited to see what the comps are on this one. And it's such a great size too. It's a nice big size, and it's a really nice quality shirt. So you're going to see this in my store with a whole lot of trigger words. And don't forget front and back. Like I said, Polo is famous for doing the front and back different sizes, or I'm sorry, different lengths. So very important that you get that. Oh yeah, this is even a double button. Like, yeah, this is a really nice button down. And then don't forget too, when you're doing this, if this has buttons here on the tops, or it's got buttons on the inside, make sure you list it as a button down. Now, if you're listing this straight up into eBay, a lot of them, you can put button down in the description, in the title, but when it's in the actual written description area, when you're inserting it in, a lot of times it'll keep flipping it back over to button up. That's okay. Don't fight it. Sometimes the system just does that. But make sure you're putting button down in your description so that people know that the buttons are there. A lot of people like having that. A lot of people don't like having that. So it's good to have that so that people can make their own decisions, right? Our job is to find a need and fill it, and locate a problem if there's one, and let people know about it. Our job is not to decide if they want it or not. That's how I always look at it. Yep. I'm going through items that can be used as part of Halloween costumes. Perfect. Gracious. I did the same thing today, actually. I put a few Halloween things in as well. Slinky red dress and added Jessica Rabbit. Perfect. Lydia Diaz. I love it. That's fantastic. What is your backing on the photo station? Does the fabric adhere to it? Yeah. So Denise, it's like a felt material. If you go over to my YouTube, which is just nice comps, there's a short little video in there. It's only like 2 minutes long. It'll tell you where to get this, how to build it, exactly which one to get, because there is a couple different kinds of the felt out there. And some of them will leave little, like skittlies. It'll leave skittlies, honey. Skittlies, that's a new word. It'll leave little skittlies on your fabric, and you don't want that. So no one wants that. Yeah, nice comps. Yep. You can find me anywhere. I'm just nice comps. I appreciate the subscribes over there too. It's nice to be able to find people for YouTube and on TikTok, because not everybody is on here. So it's kind of cool to be able to do that. Yeah. All right. So we're going to get this bundled up here, and that's going to be our last one for the evening. And then I'm going to have dinner of whatever that is. Ralph Lauren. And that is I'm going to put Xmas at the bottom just so I remember that that's which number this was. And I forgot to get a picture of the. See, the nice thing about going through the photos when I do this, when I write down the specs, is because I can take a picture instead of like going to list. How many times have you done that? Going to list, and then you realize, oh my gosh, I don't have the picture of the insides of that. I don't have a picture of the tag. Oh, that's the worst. You got to go in the inventory and dig it out and go through a whole thing. Yeah, this is a really nice 100% cotton. It says it's a large, but honestly, I think it fits more like an XL, if you want my opinion on that. Let's see. So our sleeves are 25 on that. Our chest is a 24, so 48 around. Our length is 32 and 33.5. Our shoulders are 18. I guess it is a large. I think it's just the pattern itself is making it feel like it's a longer one. Hey, Patrick. Hey, Anna Banana. Okay, you guys, that's going to be me for the evening. I'm going to head out. If you haven't had a chance to follow me yet, please consider doing that. I do these videos all the time. Hopefully, they're helping you out. We got over 10,000 on our hearts tonight. So that's freaking great. I mean, that makes me feel like I'm doing something that's helping you out. And if you guys have any other questions or anything, feel free to reach out. You can find me here. And if you're curious about my stores or you want inspiration on descriptive words, feel free to just take and look and whatever it can help. So yeah, love the content. Yeah, you're welcome, Don. Thanks again, you guys. I'll be back on tomorrow. We're going to work on jeans, and I have a few more dress shirts. And then I think we'll probably get into some of that Y2K fire that we got this weekend. I mean, there's some bangers in there that are out of this world. I got like vintage Acme Looney Tunes stuff. Like, it's bananas with a capital B. So I'll be back on tomorrow. I will make a little post. I will have a little event in there. So you can click register. It doesn't really register you for anything. It just gives you a reminder. They're helpful for me when other people do them. So I'll put that in too, and you guys will see that in the morning. So night, Vicki. Night, you guys. Thanks so much. Have a great night. Happy listing. Bye, everybody. And thank you so much if you hung out with me on the YouTube. Like I said, if you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to just reach out to me. I'm an open book. I'll be back on here tomorrow, and you'll see me hanging out. All right. Night, everybody.